Hi there. This talk is about missions. Missions which underpin character building in Boundaries. The strategy behind those missions is really simple. There are several steps. Step 1, you define your goals. You decide what you want to achieve through the mission. What's your objective? And the goals could be as simple as tracking your health indicators through the mission, or they could be as sophisticated and ambitious as achieving sustainable well-being. To make it interesting, let's take as an example the sustainable well-being and focus on it. To begin with, you have to define the sustainable well-being. And believe me, you don't want it to be defined as an unconditional happiness, the happiness no matter what. Because neither people around you will understand your decision, nor you will be able to maintain such a weird state for a long time. Instead of the unconditional happiness, we may define this sustainable well-being as our resilience to the existential nothing. Or we can generalize this definition and define it as the resistance or resilience to any kind of the misfortune. Call it a fortitude, which was considered one of the cardinal virtues in ancient Greece. Another definition of the sustainable well-being is a state of a person such that, however difficult his or her life could be at the moment, however dark times and however under the clouds they may feel, no matter what, that person knows. There is a sun behind those clouds, there is a light over there, and the time will come when all these clouds will be gone and the sun will be shining again, and something else and something else. Okay, it's a bit long and a bit hand-wavy. Let's try another one. Sustainable well-being is a state of the constant awareness of the unconditional goodness permeating this world all the time and everywhere, no matter what. I like this one. It defines this well-being through the reference to the goodness rather than misfortune. It's a bit vague and uncertain, of course, but I think it will do the job. And of course, you can have your own definition of the sustainable well-being to play with. But for the purpose of this talk, our last definition is good enough. Let's stick with it and move on. Now, the second step of the mission is to come up with an action plan, a strategy that would tell us how we are going to achieve our goal, which is sustainable well-being. And since we talk about the well-being of a person, we can employ the Bundleverse machinery here. According to Bundleverse, a person is a collection of properties, such as physical, biological, social, etc. If there is any trouble with any of those properties, we feel concerned and stressed about it. And this stress can undermine our well-being. Now, the point here is that our well-being is a function of properties which define our personality. And by changing these properties, we can influence our well-being. Now, how exactly we can do it? How exactly we can change our properties? First of all, we can plan small projects aiming at specific features of our personality. For example, at the physical level, our goal could be our physical fitness. At the biological level, we would aim at the improved diet. At the social level, we may want to spend more time with people we care about. At the spiritual level, we may want to meditate more regularly, and so on. And then we run these projects. If you like, think of this strategy as a generalized fitness gym. In a conventional gym, you work on individual groups of your muscles to improve your fitness. During the mission, you work on your identity features across physical, psychological, social, and other dimensions. And the goal is to improve your personality as a whole. Your physical fitness still matters, of course, but now it represents only one element out of your rich, complex, very special, and very multidimensional and multivariate personality. And by the way, by improving your personality, you are building a foundation for your sustainable well-being. Okay. Now, how do we know the mission based on such projects will be successful? And the answer is simple. We don't. We don't know until we try it. And here we come to the next stage of the mission. At this point, we already know where we are and where we are going to and have some rough ideas how to get there. And the next step, step 3, is to roll out our plan and actually implement this mission, to run it. A typical mission runs for several months. During the mission time, you log your progress and analyze your data. If everything is fine, you keep it running. Otherwise, if there are some issues, if you are drifting away from your goals, you refine your goals and plans and run this mission again. Simple. I think there is nothing extraordinary in this strategy. It's not a rocket science, and everybody must be able to implement it. I tried to implement it myself and was very surprised when I failed it miserably. After about 2 weeks of the mission, something else has happened. I got distracted and never came back to it. I tried it another time, failed again, and then I realized I need some help to run these missions. It's not so simple as I thought it would be. And my first thought was about sensors, APIs, smartwatches, those gadgets that would help me to log my progress, because even such a simple task as logging your data can become a tedious and challenging job. So I got a smartwatch, installed several web apps, wrote some APIs, and having done all this homework, I ran a new mission from scratch. The result was mixed. On the one hand, I believe those sensors could be very helpful. On the other hand, when you need to measure a range of variables of different types, for example, you end up with sensors from different providers and manufacturers, each having its own style, subscription plan, update cycles, and managing all these subscriptions is not trivial. And it could be quite expensive too. Anyway, in my case, after I messed up some of these subscriptions, I came back to the same point. I need something else to help me through the mission. Sensors are helpful to some extent, but they don't solve this problem completely. And eventually I came up with this idea of the registrar, a person helping other people to run missions, including design of their missions, logging their progress, and even analyzing their data. Well, it may not sound like a big deal for you, but I think it could be a game changer. Because when you look after other people, you make commitments which you cannot just brush aside easily. And these commitments will keep you on track for much longer than it would be otherwise, than it would be if you were logging onto your own data. So basically, helping other people, you help yourself. And the point to take home here is that even when you have only 2 people in a mission, you and maybe your friend or a family member, you may try to run it in a registrar mode so that you look after each other rather than logging your own data. Another point to mention here is that for some indicators, the owner of the data can use encrypted names so that the registrar doesn't know the meaning behind that indicator. This way, the owner of the data can keep his or her secrets safe. And that's all from me for now. Thank you for your time. Take care